Allegiance.
Hi, buddy. How are you?
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America.
to the republic
First, one nation.
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Lord Jesus, we thank you for gathering us here tonight, getting us here safely. We pray for all the residents in our city. Protect them, watch over them. Protect our policemen, our firemen, our servicemen, everyone in our city, and especially for Evan. You are with those as they're fighting this battle. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Okay, Ms. Muscatella, roll call.
Ms. Grazia. Mr. Smollett.
Here.
Ms. Simmons. Here. Mr. Simons. Mr. Ziegler.
Here.
Mr. Fenstermaker.
Here.
Mr. Hamer. Mr. Schultz.
Here. I'd like to move the suspension of the rules of council for swearing in.
Suspend the rules of council for swearing.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussions? Ms. Muscatella, call for roll.
Mr. Smollett.
Yes.
Ms. Simons.
Yes.
Mr. Ziegler.
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker.
Yes.
Mr. Schultz.
Yes.
All yours, chief.
All right, thank you, council. Nathan, if you want to come up, I'd like to introduce you to council, and I think everybody else in the room here knows Nathan. So Nathan's a Mentor resident and North High School graduate. He just recently completed the police academy at Lakeland Community College, and I had an opportunity to be the guest speaker for the class. He was one of the last free agents that was left available, so we did everything we can to recruit him and get him over here. We're proud that Nathan is able to join the police department, and we're looking forward to many years of dedicated service. But if Mayor, we'd like to swear him in, please.
Somebody to hold the Bible for
Okay, oath of office for the City of Kirtland Police Department. Repeat after me. Raise your right hand, please.
I, Nathan D.L. Stone,
I, Nathan D.L. Stone,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Charter,
the
the
Charter,
ordinances and resolutions
the ordinances and resolutions
of the City of Kirtland,
of the City of Kirtland,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
honestly, and impartially
honestly, and impartially
discharge my duties
discharge my duties
as police officer
as police officer
to my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So
So help me God.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Hold on. Actually. You guys can all step out if you'd like. It's pretty boring, this meeting, so I think you're gonna have much better time outside, so. Hey, Jamie, if you could close the door, too. Thank you, sir.
Okay, back to the readings and approval of the minutes of December 2nd, 2024 work session. Looking for a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
No, you're just resuming.
That's okay, you're good. Okay, Joe approved, Mr. Ziegler second.
Yeah, change this.
Any discussions? Okay, call roll, please.
Mr. Smolak?
Yes.
Simons?
Yes.
Mr. Ziegler? Mr. Fenstermaker?
Yes.
Mr. Schultz?
Abstain.
Okay, on to the minutes of the December 2nd, 2024 council meeting. Looking for a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Julie. And second with Eric. Any discussions? Okay, Ms. Muscatello, call the roll.
Yes.
Ms. Simons?
Yes.
Mr. Ziegler?
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker?
Yes.
Mr. Schultz?
Abstain.
Okay, on to the department reports. Chief?
Thank you, Mr. President. Formal report was sent out. You should all have that. We're on pace for our busiest year ever. You'll see that probably at the end of the year. We're looking to hit about 1,500 calls this year. It's quite a bit for us. Other than that, I'm open for any questions.
Any questions for the chief? Okay, moving on. Mr. Fenaro?
Good afternoon, everybody. Little winter update. First of all, I'd like to thank the crew for doing a great job with the couple of snow events we've had in the last couple weeks, working through the cold weather. As always, our team does a great job. So as of today, we had 16 snow events so far. Compared to last year, we had 9 up until this time. So almost doubled our snow events through this time frame. In that week of the 28th, November 28th, an estimated about 18 inches of snow fell, more on the north end, and we went through over 600 gallons of fuel. So just some quick numbers on the snow for you.
You said 600 gallons.
600 gallons of fuel in that week. Those trucks were running nonstop for 7 days, 24 hours. The guys do rest, the trucks don't. So there's 2 shifts, 2 12-hour shifts. Sometimes they hang over a little longer, but it's 24 hours a day.
No, I can
You know, those, just a little bit about the storms, a little different than what we've been getting. It was the cold temperatures and the blowing snow. So it made it pretty difficult to pre-treat. So we used quite a bit of salt that week.
Any estimate of how much we used?
I could get that for you again. That salt is an estimate. When we go a week straight, it's hard for the guys to count scoops. That's what we're relying on. So it's not a true number, but I could tell you my rough guess would be over 1,000 tons.
How much?
Over 1,000. That would be a quarter of our salt.
So have you had a new fill up? Have you had anybody, have they filled up again? Like how often do you get the salt deliveries?
We try to help finance out and wait till after the first of the year.
Gotcha.
So we're going to hold off a little bit to see if we can make it past the new year.
Mr. Fenaro, you and I touched base about that, what is that, Route 6 in Speary?
We did. So that's going to be addressed come spring, why that water's always, that one water puddle in the middle of the hill. So
Okay.
again, I wish we would have addressed it before the road went in, but we noticed it. So some we're going to have to look at, probably do a core over there and see what's going on.
I just know from experience, it gets slick there at
It is,
5:30
it
in
is
the
slippery,
morning.
especially Sunday morning. I was over there quite a bit. So.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. A couple more thank yous. I'd like to thank the Grazia family. Yeah, I think this is their 5th year donating our holiday tree in the front. Also like to thank the Garden Club for making the swags. I hope everyone noticed the greenery on all our signposts. The Garden Club makes those. They made over 40 of them this year. And they also decorated the inside of City Hall and Council Chambers. So I'd like to thank them. And again, another big thank you to Lake County Genealogical Society. This has been a 2-year project of putting, I don't know, hundreds of index cards of our cemetery files are now online, so people could search online for the cemetery. So, and they did all that. So a big thank you to them. And that completes my report.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions for Mr. Fenaro?
You said that was the Lake County Historical Society? Genealogical? Thank you.
We can actually scan. They're not by units. There's a number that we scanned over to them. They put in instruction. Mr. Gibbs did a great job getting that.
That's awesome. Okay, Mr. Courtney.
Thank you very much. Welcome, everyone. Community center paving, resolution 24R93 is on tonight's agenda. To close out that contract, final construction cost for that job was $88,882.11. It's about $1,675 above council's original authorization for that work. And that's attributable to some extra base pavement repairs we needed to do when we were doing the proof roll on the parking lot. And if you could, we would like that passed tonight. Old Town sewer improvements. End of last week, I got the final pay estimate for Shivers for Phase 2. That was approved by the county. The total actual construction costs for both phases of that work came in at $1,657,955. That's about $102,716 less than what was estimated when we calculated the assessments. And we were able to utilize the full federal grant of $820,890 on that project. The Wisner Wall, we met with SME on Friday the 6th. We discussed the results of the soil borings and different repair alternatives with SME. SME is preparing a proposal for some additional lab testing on the soils, calculations, and recommendations for a new wall design or a new design to deal with that slope. And that proposal is expected this week. Happy to take any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Courtney? Okay. Mr. Slapnicker.
Thank you, Council President Fenstermaker. The November 2024 end of month reports have been distributed. We did receive notification that we were awarded $110,000 for the Senior Levy Award. Again, this is something that we typically get each year to help fund the senior center programs. During the work session, we went over the legislation items from finance, which includes the temporary budget for 2025, the final amendment for 2024, the transfer ordinance, the updated transfer ordinance for 2024, the comprehensive liability insurance for 2025, and delinquent sewers. So I'm available for any questions on those or anything else that you may have.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Slapnicker? Chief McAllister, you're back. Report?
No formal report tonight, but I'm certainly open for any questions. Stone, S-T-O-N-E.
Wow. I don't know if that passes the 5th grade.
Where did he come from again, Chief? Or was he in originally?
He's a Minna resident. He just graduated from Lakeland, so
okay.
he's got no prior experience.
Okay. Thank you.
Louis, I had a question. You had sent the reports prior to the meeting. It appears that the general fund has about $2.8 million as of 11/30. What would you anticipate are less the expenses for December are we expecting a big hit to really draw that?
Yeah, so again, part of the fire truck engine, that sort of thing. So we're looking at around $2 million. We have a final payroll running this week. We'll encumber the property and casualty insurance. That's about $100,000. We have some other encumbrances. We just made our Bureau workers' comp payment today, which is around $32,000. So yeah, that's going to draw down there, especially with that encumbering the fire engine. So we're really looking at around that $2 million mark.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any further questions for Mr. Slapnicker or Mr. McAllister? Okay. Legal, Mr. Lallo?
Thank you, Mr. Council President. Just not a whole lot to report on. I did get an update. We did have one civil suit that's pending from an aggrieved person who is charged with a traffic offense, a couple different traffic offenses in Willoughby. It's been a long-standing issue. If you're not familiar, there was one case filed in state court, and now there's one in federal court. So I just got an update from our council. They filed a motion to dismiss, and we're just waiting for that process to play out. That case is still pending in court, by the way, in Willoughby. So we have that. I did speak with Mr. Scholes. He is, as it relates to 24R93 with the closeout, he's going to ask, or we're going to ask that the resolution be amended. There's 3 whereas clauses. Just the first whereas clause, after it says whereas, comma, insert the words pursuant to 24R72, comma, the city of Kirtland. It just references back the original authorizing legislation. Otherwise, so whenever you do the first reading, we'll ask that you consider a motion to amend to include that phrase, and I can help at that point. And then aside from that, I don't feel that I have anything else to offer report-wise unless you have questions for me.
I have no questions for Mr. Lallo. Anybody else have questions for Mr. Lallo?
Whatever came of the case with there was a gentleman who was claiming sovereignty or?
That's the case. So
That's this one. Okay.
So he filed
My
a case
apologies.
in state court, or the Lake County Court of Common Pleas, and that case was dismissed. So that case was dismissed, and then his case was still pending. So it's been pending for over a year, both of his cases, the underlying cases. And then now he's filed a case in federal court, essentially arguing a lot of the same things. And so it's just in the infancy stages, but through our council, the insurance council, they've filed a motion to dismiss, and we'll see where it goes.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't know that was the same one.
Yep, all good.
Okay. Mayor? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Wolf, would you like to talk about the service center, community, senior center? I fixed it.
So today was my first day on the job, so I don't have a whole lot to report. We did have the big senior center Christmas party last week, which was a very large hit. It was great for me to participate in that as well. But otherwise, nothing new that I'm aware of, like I said, day one. So I'm open for questions. No, they were all very welcoming.
Welcome.
Well, Juliet, welcome, and look forward to getting you in line and making sure I don't skip you next time.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, no problem. Mayor?
Thank you, Council President Fenstermaker. I won't have a whole lot to report tonight, but I did want to mention that tomorrow night at the Planning and Zoning meeting, we will have a potential developer come to speak at Planning and Zoning. They didn't get into they weren't able to get onto the agenda because they called in too late, but they are going to come for the point of public comments on matters not on the agenda. But I did want to mention it, and if anybody from council is able to make it tomorrow night, interesting potential development that they wanted to introduce to planning and zoning, at least conceptually. Nothing formal, again, just to kind of talk about what they're envisioning potentially for 10945 Chillicothe Road, which is the Pumpkinville site. So if you have time tomorrow evening, please stop on up. But I'm guessing they'll be back after tomorrow. So if you can't make it tomorrow night, I know it's short notice. Come back in January.
Okay, and that meeting's at 7 o'clock?
That meeting is at 7 o'clock. 6:30 work session, Janelle, but I don't think that'll have anything to do with it.
Sit through probably 2%. If you're thinking how long it's going to take, you know.
Okay, Mayor, anything else to cover tonight?
No, other than that, I'm open for questions. Just wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year.
Mayor, any update on Ohio Gig?
Yes and no. Yes, in that I've spoken to Jim Gibbs, but no, we have not seen anything formal come back from them.
One last thing, a while back, we had appointed Mr. Carr for the 911 committee. Has there been any update?
Actually, I'm going to be meeting with several of the other West End mayors later on this week with Mayor Fiala. So at the next council meeting, maybe we'll have something to report.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, anything else from the mayor then? Okay, on to standing committee reports. Anything to report on standing committee reports?
Not at this time, but Mayor, when would you figure for the departments, fire, police, and for budget? That be second meeting of end of January possibly, after you guys discuss your initial budgets?
So based on the end of year close, and then we have all of our end of year reporting with W-2s and 1099s and things like that. I was actually just talking with the mayor prior to this meeting that around the second week of January, I'll be in full budget mode at that point, which is actually quite a lot, quicker than in past years. So I would probably say the first meeting of February would probably be best. We'd have some solid numbers at that point to discuss.
Thank you, Louis. Thank you, Mayor.
So, Louis, will that be our first review then? Is February 3rd?
Potentially. Typically, the first reading of the budget has been the second meeting of February.
Okay.
But I'm looking to actually get that for the first meeting of February. So I think we should be a little bit ahead of schedule. So I would probably say that first meeting in February would be a good time for the first reading of the budget, potentially.
Okay, thank you. If there's anything else, I know of one correspondence. We did get a legislative notice for a liquor's license transfer. So is there any discussions or objections to that? I believe all of council has seen it.
I just want to clarify that everyone understood what I understood, which was that the license is owned by the Kirtland Creamery and they're transferring it to Tall Oaks. It looked like it was for specific areas of Tall Oaks and not the entire establishment. So I'm just a little
I believe it's
confused on that.
opposite. I believe it's the permit is in safekeeping with Tall Oaks. I think from what I understood that it was going to be transferred to the creamery. So when I looked at that paperwork, it said to the Kirtland Creamery from Tall Oaks. I know that they have had a liquor permit in safekeeping for 2, maybe 3 years now. Not an issue with that, but I think that there's some other avenues or ways that they can serve liquor where maybe they don't need the permit. So they're probably trying to push it there with whatever development they have plans for in the future. But we did our background checks, things of that nature that are necessary to weigh in on the permit, and everybody checks fine in terms of that.
I guess my confusion is, didn't it reference a balcony or something?
It does. It references a patio and a balcony, but now that I'm reading it closer, it does say to Kirtland Creamery from TCE Tall Oaks, if I'm reading that correct.
Correct.
Okay, so Tall Oaks is sending it, what they have, over to the creamery?
Correct. So do you know, does Tall Oaks have 2 permits then? Is that what it is?
No, we had found out a couple of years ago that they had put that into safekeeping. there's essentially a loophole where if they're not serving or selling alcohol, they don't need the permit. People can, for parties and things, can bring their own liquor and serve that on site, and there's not an issue with it.
Okay.
I guess I'm still just confused about what and maybe it's not for us to know, but what the goal is because why are we referencing a balcony for an establishment that doesn't have a balcony in the paperwork?
Nope. So, but I think you're
Okay.
confusing the issue because the sender of the person who currently holds a permit, that was, I think it included TC Tall Oaks' patio and balcony, but they're giving that to the creamery. They're transferring that to the creamery. So there's nothing related to a patio or balcony at the creamery that's receiving the permit.
Okay. And our assumption is that they're going to use a liquor license at the Kirtland Creamery, probably in that back area or something for.
Could be. I know initially when they first opened, there was talk about serving.
ice cream.
Exactly. So I know there was talk about that years ago.
Okay.
I don't know. I would imagine it'd go through P and Z, so.
Okay.
Okay. So if there's no objections, we'll move forward. Big public tonight. Any public comments on matters on the agenda? Take that as a no. Okay, moving on to old business. Any public comments for agenda items of old business? Take that as a no. Okay, moving on to ordinance 24-0-79, third reading, an ordinance designating financial institutions as public depositories. Looking for a motion to adopt?
So
Motion
moved.
to adopt?
Second.
Okay, Matt Schultz moved and Julie second. Ms. Muscatello, call roll. I'm sorry, any discussions? Okay. All right. Ms. Muscatello, please call roll.
Schultz,
Yes.
Mr. Smollett,
Yes.
Ms. Simons.
Yes.
Mr. Ziegler,
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker.
Yes. Okay, moving on to ordinance 24-0-80, third reading. An ordinance providing temporary appropriations for the 3-month period ending March 31st, 2025. Looking for a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Mr. Schultz
Second.
moved. Mr. Smolik second. Any discussions? Okay, Ms. Muscatello, please call roll.
Schultz,
Yes.
Mr. Smollett.
Yes.
Ms. Simons.
Yes.
Mr. Ziegler.
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker.
Yes. Okay, moving on to ordinance 24-0-85, second reading. An ordinance amending ordinance number 24-0-59 relating to the appropriations for the year 2024.
Motion to waive the third reading?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Smolik, motion to waive, and Mr. Schultz, second. Any discussions? Ms. Muscatello, please call roll.
Smollett,
Yes.
Ms. Simons.
Yes.
Mr. Ziegler.
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker.
Yes.
Mr. Schultz.
Yes.
Motion to adopt?
Looking for a motion to adopt? Mr. Smolik?
Adopt.
Second.
Mr. Schultz, second.
No, you're fine.
Any discussions? Ms. Muscatello, please call the roll.
Mr. Smollett.
Yes.
Ms. Simons.
Yes.
Mr. Ziegler.
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker.
Yes.
Mr. Schultz.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to resolution number 24-R-86, second reading. Resolution amending resolution number 24-R-27, authorizing transfers of funds and declaring an emergency.
Motion to waive the third reading?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Smolik took motion to waive, and Mr. Schultz seconded. Any discussion? Ms. Muscatello, please call roll.
Smollett.
Yes.
Ms. Simons.
Yes.
Mr. Ziegler.
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker.
Yes.
Mr. Schultz.
Yes.
Okay, looking for a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Actually, it would be declare an emergency and
To
adopt.
declare an emergency and adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Eric moved, Julie second. Any discussions? Okay, Ms. Muscatello, please call the roll.
Yes.
Ms. Simons.
Yes.
Mr. Ziegler.
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker.
Yes.
Mr. Schultz.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to new business. Public comments on agenda items of new business. Okay, moving on. Okay, ordinance 24-0-89, an ordinance authorizing the Director of Finance to accept a proposal for the purchase of comprehensive liability insurance for the city and declaring an emergency.
Motion to waive the 3 readings.
Second?
Okay, Mr. Schultz, motion to waive. Mr. Smolik, second. Any discussions? Okay, Ms. Muscatella, call roll.
Mr. Smolik.
Yes.
Ms. Simons.
Yes.
Mr. Ziegler.
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker.
Yes.
Mr. Schultz.
Yes.
Okay, looking for a motion to adopt and.
No, motion to declare.
declare an emergency and adopt.
So moved.
Mr. Schultz? Need a second?
Second?
Mr. Smolik? Any discussions? Ms. Muscatella, please call roll.
Smolik.
Yes.
Ms. Simons.
Yes.
Mr. Ziegler.
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker.
Yes.
Mr. Schultz.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to resolution number 24-R-90. Resolution establishing standing committees of council and declaring an emergency.
Motion to waive the 3 readings. Actually, was there any changes? Did everybody okay with their committee assignments? You guys looking? Okay. Motion to waive the 3 readings.
Okay, looking for a second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Smolik motioned, Ms. Simons second. Any discussion? Ms. Muscatella, please call roll.
Mr. Smolik.
Yes.
Ms. Simons.
Yes.
Mr. Ziegler.
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker.
Yes.
Mr. Schultz.
Yes.
Motion to declare an emergency and adopt.
Second?
Okay, Mr. Ziegler, motion to declare an emergency and adopt. Mr. Smolik, second. Any discussion?
Mr. Smolik.
Yes.
Ms. Simons.
Yes.
Mr. Ziegler.
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker.
Yes.
Mr. Schultz.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to ordinance 24-0-91. An ordinance levying liens for delinquent sanitary sewer charges and declaring an emergency.
Motion to waive the 3 readings.
Second?
Okay, Mr. Schultz, motion to waive the 3 readings. Mr. Smolik, second. Any discussion? Ms. Muscatella?
Mr. Smolik.
Yes.
Ms. Simons.
Yes.
Mr. Ziegler.
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker.
Yes.
Mr. Schultz.
Yes.
Motion to declare an emergency and to adopt?
Second.
Okay, motion to declare an emergency by Mr. Smolik, second by Mr. Ziegler. Any discussion? Ms. Muscatella, please call the roll.
Mr. Smolik.
Yes.
Ms. Simons.
Yes.
Mr. Ziegler.
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker.
Yes.
Mr. Schultz.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to resolution number 24-R-92. Resolution confirming the reappointment of James Pellick to the Board of Zoning Appeals and declaring an emergency.
Motion to waive the 3 readings.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Schultz, motion to waive the 3 readings. Mr. Simons, second. Any discussion? Ms. Muscatello?
Mr. Smolik.
Yes.
Ms. Simons.
Yes.
Mr. Ziegler.
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker.
Yes.
Mr. Schultz.
Yes.
Okay, looking for a motion to declare an emergency and adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Schultz moved. I'm sorry, Mr. Smolik moved. Simon second. Any discussion? Ms. Muscatella, call the roll.
Mr. Smolik.
Yes.
Ms. Simons.
Yes.
Mr. Ziegler.
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker.
Yes.
Mr. Schultz.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to resolution 24-R-93. Resolution authorizing the closeout of the Kirtland Community Center parking lot and repaving project with Ohio Paving and Construction Company and declaring an emergency. Understand we need a resolution,
It would be a motion to amend.
motion to amend.
Yes, and to insert the phrase after the first whereas, comma, pursuant to 24-R-72, comma, and then it proceeds. So the motion to amend would be to include that phrase.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Ziegler made the motion to amend. Mr. Smolik,
Second.
oh, Mr. Schultz, second. Any discussion?
Mr. Fernaro, obviously those curbs look pretty good. That was one of the things they came back on that.
That is correct.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay. Ms. Muscatella?
Mr. Smolak,
Yes.
Ms. Simons,
Yes.
Mr. Ziegler,
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker,
Yes.
Mr. Schultz,
Yes.
Motion to declare an emergency?
Nope.
Oh, sorry.
3 readings.
Oh, sorry. Motion to waive the 3 readings. We just amended, correct?
Need a second?
Second.
All right. Mr. Smolik made a motion to waive the 3 readings. Mr. Schultz, second. Any discussion? Ms. Muscatella, call the roll.
Mr. Smolak,
Yes.
Ms. Simons,
Yes.
Mr. Ziegler,
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker,
Yes.
Mr. Schultz,
Yes. Motion to declare an emergency and adopt.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Schultz, motion to declare an emergency. Mr. Simon, second. Any discussion? Ms. Muscatella, call the roll.
Mr. Smolak,
Yes.
Ms. Simons,
Yes.
Mr. Ziegler,
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker,
Yes.
Mr. Schultz,
Yes.
Okay.
That's a ring, we amended motion.
Yeah, we amended a motion, right? We're good? Yep. Okay. All right. So on to 24-0-94, an ordinance amending codified ordinance section 1290.02 relating to fences and their definitions and declaring an emergency. Ms. Muscatella, I'd like to set this up for a public hearing for January 6th at the January 6th meeting.
And again, there could be discussion regarding that at this
Okay.
point as well.
Do we have any discussion points tonight regarding the fence ordinance?
The one question I have, Mr. Lallo, is it mentions the height, it doesn't give a specific height. Is that covered elsewhere in other portions of the fence ordinance?
Normally,
Gives a
it's 6.5
variance
feet,
in the
correct?
height due to irregular ground. Doesn't
If I'm
say
if I'm not mistaken, there is a section that requires.
6.5 foot max, I believe.
I thought it was 6. Okay, so it is 6.5 feet. Okay,
no, yeah, 6.
1290.
Yeah, this is 1290.
So, where are you referencing? And then So here,
it
so
says
privacy-
height not to exceed.
here, privacy fences with a height not to exceed 6 feet 6 inches. Yeah.
I was just saying, in what we have before us, it just says height not to exceed. Height to not exceed means the height of a fence as measured from the existing grade. It doesn't specify.
So what that saying is
This.
correct. So it's defining what height not to exceed means, because when it says privacy fences, it says it's a height not to exceed 6 feet 6 inches. So what does that mean? It's from the grade, wherever that grade is, 6 feet 6 inches up. So if there's a dip or a hill, that better dip down as well, or, you know.
That was my only question. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, moving on to council comments.
Want to wish everybody a happy holiday. Enjoy it with your families.
Okay. Continuing concerns. Right now.
Anyone?
All right, on to adjournment. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Just don't want it to end. You're doing so great.
All right, we're out.
He is good at